Hey guys, it's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and I am coming to you. Wish I could say that I'm bringing you more Q, but there is no Q today, so far anyway. And so what I'm doing is I'm revisiting the whole Hawaii crash and doing a part two because many of you said you wanted to see the video and additional information. So that's what I am doing. Now, I am going to, look a little bit into Obama's past too, because the Loretta Fuddy, Obama's mother, and Dunham, and Obama are all linked together by one thing, and that is their allegiance to Mohammed Saboud, who is the leader of the Saboud cult. So let's just look into this. When it comes to politics and Obama's past, there are no such things as coincidences. Jason Kistner from American Thinkers shows links between Obama's mother, Stanley Ann Dunham, to a certain Saboud spiritual cult, and also documents the verifiable link between the Saboud cult and one Loretta Fuddy. Yeah, it's irrefutable, really. The tie there. There's a very strong tie and strong evidence to that effect. Fuddy, you'll remember, was the woman who had been appointed in January 2011 to head the agency in Hawaii that verified Obama's birth certificate, the one he finally, after years of questions, displayed to the world in March of 2011. So Fuddy was also the lone survivor of a small plane crash off the coast of Hawaii. Now this says just a couple months ago, but it wasn't. It was back in 2011. However, Q has brought it to our attention again, just I think several days ago. So it's obviously important. It's obviously still on his radar, and it should be on our radar as well, because once I started looking into this, I realized that this woman, there was no question in my mind, had been murdered. So someone commented to the fact that they felt that I was insensitive to her as a person, having died, but not at all. She is a victim. Now, she's not entirely innocent because she did, either she forged it or she had it forged. So, and she did try to, pawn that lie off onto the world. So she's certainly not innocent, but did she deserve to be murdered? No, absolutely not. And especially for the reason she was, because she was probably forced to do it. I don't think that she would have had a choice in the matter. So, no, I'm not at all insensitive to her plight or wanting to be insensitive to the loss that her family suffered at all. She is a victim. I tend to be a little sarcastic at times, but don't take that I am insensitive to her at all, because I'm not. The woman was murdered and she deserves justice, and that's my whole point in doing this, not just in, bringing you some interesting facts, but the fact that she needs justice, and those that perpetrated this need to be brought to justice. They need to be exposed. So, and certainly the trail leads straight to Obama. So let's go on. The idea being promoted is that this Mohammed Saboud, the founder of the Saboud cult, is in fact Obama's real father. Now, I personally have believed this for a very long time. I looked into this quite a while ago, and I was convinced that that was the case because it seemed the best, it just seemed to explain his background in the best possible, all the little pieces seemed to fit. And not only that, I think after you've seen some of the evidence, that you too might question this and think that, yeah, perhaps that is Obama's real father. Now, consider this scenario. At some point before traveling to Indonesia, she, meaning Obama's mother, met and was impregnated by Saboud, not by Obama Sr., which would explain why Obama Sr. was never part of Obama Jr.'s life. Since the teenage Dunham was sexually promiscuous anyway, simply claim the child wasn't his, and she would then assume that it belonged to someone else, in this case, Obama Sr. However, several years later, Obama would have had to notice that her son looked nothing like the man she thought was the father, and the other man she knew she had been with at the time was Sabood, living in Indonesia. Is there any better explanation for why this young woman with no ties to that country would go to live there? That would also explain how Barack Hussein Obama, adopted in Indonesia by the Indonesian Lolo Satoro, was able to attend school in Indonesia, as his records indicated, with Indonesian citizenship. So, interestingly enough, Obama, who was so proud of being black, being part black, was not black at all. He was Indonesian and Caucasian. So he is of mixed descent, but it's Indonesian and Caucasian, not Caucasian and black. Like, so I just think that's interesting. He was Indonesian all along. It would also account for the attempted name inclusion on the passport extension application with Sobarka in parentheses, then crossed out. Such a theory, speculative as we must speculate where no verifiable evidence is available, also would go a long way toward covering the whole fraudulent birth certificate issue, as a child born in Kenya would not have a Hawaiian birth certificate, and who better to authenticate the forged certificate than Loretta Deliana Fuddy, a woman who was the chairwoman of Sabood USA from 2006 until 2008 in Seattle. A woman who may have known the truth regarding the son of Stanley Ann Dunham, Obama Sotero. In order to fundamentally transform the United States, they needed a socialist, not an American, who would become their willing puppet, doing what he was told, reading from their teleprompter text, a Muslim who would befriend our enemies while turning his back on our allies. And Obama himself must have known all along, as his records pertaining to his past would not have been buried without his knowledge. Now, you tell me, who is more likely to be his father? This is who he claims is his father, his Kenyan father, Barack Obama Sr. Now, okay, so you see that. Now, this is Mohammed Sabood. As you can see, look at it, they're almost identical. In fact, looking at some of these pictures of Mohammed Sabood, I would swear that I was looking at Barack Obama. Barack Obama has that same sort of stance with his head tilted back as if he's looking down his nose, and we see that he gets this from his father. And look at the ears here. Look at the shape of the eyes, the lips. I personally have never felt that Obama looked black to me. Certainly not, like the typical features. He's got a very thin nose. There's just certain features that I don't think go along with that, but again, I'm Native American in part, and I certainly don't look at all. I don't have any features that would lead anyone to think that. So, but it's interesting, and that's what I feel I'm here for, is to just bring you the information. And you yourself can decide. I don't want to push my ideas on you. Of course, I do give my opinion because it's my channel, and I can't help but give my opinion, because who other's opinion do I have? So let's just go on here, see What else we have? Loretta Fuddy and Ann Dunham associated with Mohammed Sabood cult. And that was according to Dr. Corsi. Now, of course, I don't believe now everything that Dr. Corsi says for sure, especially when it comes to Q. But he did have some good information about this. Sabood cult and Obama Indonesian name was Sobarka. So look at this with Mohammed Sabood cut, and one side of Sabood's face and one half of Obama's face. They're a match, I would say. Pretty much. Obama's got a little bit more almond-shaped eye than Sabood. The eyebrows are very similarly shaped. The nose is almost identical. And the mouth as well. Now, Sabood might have a little bit fuller lip, but same shape. Same indentations in the same place. Obama has a bit more indentation there, but we would expect that because he was president, and that ages someone very, very quickly. Most presidents go in looking one way and come out looking another because of the stress level. So it's just interesting. The ears, I don't have an ear here on Obama, but I've always thought his ears were very prominent. And so is this gentleman's ears. And they have the same sort of stance. Obama's very slight. He's not overweight by any stretch of the imagination. He's got a thin face. Doesn't have the wide shoulders. He just, he has the physique of Mohammed Sabood, at least in my opinion. Now, this is the mother, Lena Dunham. This is her application for an extension of her passport, and it's from 1965. And let me see here. On the second page, you can't see it here, so I've made it a little bit bigger here. You've got, at first as a dependent, she had written in Barack Hussein Obama and then put in parentheses Sobarka. And then it's scratched out. That's interesting. Well, it's curious. It's curious and interesting. On the second page of the application, Anne moved to exclude her son, Barack Hussein Obama Sobarka, from her passport, but the item has been crossed out, perhaps on the advice of the consulate in Jakarta, as this would have left 7-year-old Barry passportless. So it didn't happen. The appendage, Sobarka, has never been satisfactorily explained by anyone, and I certainly don't know what Sobarka means, but it does seem to indicate a name change or change in citizenship status for the boy. Clearly, what constitutes a satisfactory explanation varies with respect to persons, subject matter, context, and so forth, and yet there is a very good and simple explanation for the seemingly random appearance of the Sobarka on Mother Sotero's passport application. Believe it or not, the reason may be linked to one Loretta Fuddy. Yes, that Loretta Fuddy, the Hawaii State Health Director who approved the release of Obama's long-form birth certificate and who has apparently succumbed to a nasty case of post-random plane crash-induced arrhythmia. Ann Soetoro and Loretta Fuddy appear to have one very odd thing in common. Both have been linked to the Sabood cult, which originated in all places, Indonesia, and was founded by the Javanese Muslim Mohammed Sabood. The smallish cult appears to have had at least circa 2001, and according to the profile of sorts in the Honolulu Advertiser, 20,000 members worldwide. Notice the picture of Deliana Fuddy, then regional helper and member of the faith. I don't actually have that picture, so I apologize. Note also that the World Sabood Organization seems to have been based in, of all cities, wait for it, Chicago. Indonesia, Chicago, and Hawaii. 3 locales linked to Obama's life. Now, I know I had read that part in the last video, but it bears repeating. Now, this is Obama on the left here, and this on the right is a Javanese Obama impersonator. So you can see that he does fit with the Indonesian, Javanese, you know, the look. He fits with that, and certainly bears no resemblance to the father that he claims is his actual father. I don't think. Now, this is, okay, now let's get into the plane, okay? Remember I told you in the last video that it wasn't recovered? And it was in 14 feet of water, as proved by the fact they tried to lead us to think that it was, you know, a mile out in the ocean and couldn't be, you know, it couldn't be retrieved, but that's not the case. It was very close to shore, and I was right. I think I said it was like 200 and some feet, and then I corrected myself because I read somewhere else it was 700. It wasn't. It was 200 and some feet. It was very close to the shore. And the water was estimated to be in one place 14 feet, and in another place nearby the crash, like right in that vicinity, it was only a meter deep. So, yeah, like lots of discrepancies there. Now, I had said that it wasn't recovered because that's what they were reporting at the time and in the news sources around that period of time. But I did find that it has since been recovered. Now, please tell me, and after you see the video, you're going to say, what the heck? Once you see the video and how it just sank. It was impact. There was no crash. It was more like a water landing. It was not a crash. There was no crash. In the video, you'll see how gently it came down into the water and just splash, and everyone got out orderly. Nobody even reached for a life vest. You know, and of course in the reports it says, you know, the pilot made sure everybody had a life vest, and he, you know, yelled to everybody to put their life vests on. No, he didn't. Not according to the video, and both audio and video was running. So nothing like that occurred. And they just kind of gently get out. Nobody seems stressed to me. Everybody seems, you know, relaxed, like they've all got their part to play, and they do. Because people have asked me, well, how could someone be murdered like that with all these other people around? That's because everybody else was in on it, and it becomes evident the more you look at the video, because there are underground divers popping up at random places that have been blanked out, but which the original video shows. And of course, the original video has been scrubbed from the internet, so good luck finding it. But if you do, please let me know, because I really, really want to see it. But there are some people that got still shots from it before it disappeared. So I have, you know, tried to track those down as well. But anyway, once you see how intact the plane is, and then you see this picture, you're going to say, what the heck? Now, what I believe, they demolished that plane while it was under there. That plane was intact, and you know, somebody was questioning, well, what happened? Oh, it was rolling around in the waves. Oh, no way. I don't believe that for a minute. Not a minute. No. Where are the wings? What happened to the wings? No, I don't believe it. And I think that you're smart enough to not believe it either. Anyway, after you've seen all the evidence, of course. Now, whoops, sorry. Let's just scoot down here. Now, this is one of those that was taken, and what I did is I had to just kind of grab it, a little screenshot there of it. And this was taken from, okay, this gentleman, I don't know who he is. His name is Hugo Fuegen, and it's unfortunate because his video only has 1,372 views. He only has 20 subscribers, and yet it's the best video that I've seen on this, and it's very thorough and well investigated, and his voice is pleasant to listen to. So I put this for a reason, because I did grab some stills from his video, and I wanted to give him just a call out, really, because he deserves it, because he's done some really fantastic research. So if you have a chance, I would suggest that you watch this video. He's got a couple of them, and it's use of the U.S. military for a weaponized political benefit. And again, his name is Hugo Feugen, Feugen. So he published this in February 2018. Hopefully he'll get some attention for it, because he deserves it. I'm not, I don't know anything about this person or what he believes or anything. I'm only referring to this video. So don't come back and say, oh, he's a serial killer. I mean, I don't know. I just know that he did this video, and it's very good research, and it's very well done. That's all I know. But he doesn't look like a serial killer. But then, no serial killer really looks like a serial killer. And if you ask them, they'll never just come right out and tell you. Anyway, that's my, I'll pull myself back into line here. So let me talk about what this is about. Within 32 seconds of the plane ditching, this bag appears. Okay, none of the passengers carry it off the plane. So where did it come from? And you see it kind of transforming itself over several frames. And this says, showing foreknowledge, the elderly passenger / author saves this PFD, and I think he means plane flotation device, for his wife to wear after she gives up the bag, because the bag, as we'll see, has its own flotation device, and it transforms into an underwater, for lack of a better word, thing with a long phallus-like antenna that was meant to transfer the underground network or the underwater network, everything that was happening, transmitted into the sky so that it could be picked up. We'll see more of this. Okay, and this is again from the same video, and it says the shape-shifting bag turns into an antenna equipped below the waterline life jacket right out of a James Bond movie. So we can see this bag transforming itself, and then the pilot tends to the bag's tether. And here's the bag again. This is the pilot's white shirt. He's tending to the bag, as do several other people. Then we have this lady. She straps on the bag, and this long antenna that looks, really, it does look phallic-like. Well, I'd hate to see the size of the man that has a phallus like that, but anyway, she's got this, and she's got her legs through, and she's sitting in, it's a flotation device that and this long phallus-like thing is sticking out from this, and they're being careful at that point to keep it above water. And so it says, lady straps on the bag while her husband sports a non-standard life jacket. So her husband has a non-standard life jacket, and yet this is the picture of the National Transportation Safety Board, their list of the disclosed life jackets that were on this airplane. And yet this guy has a, non-standard life jacket with built-in electronics. So, a little odd. Passengers had other equipment that the commuter airline could not normally have provided. So, here's an infant life jacket, which is odd. A bi-directional radio worn by former Army Green Beret. And again, these pictures are very hard because they're taken from they're taken from the GoPro footage that Puentes took, which again, in and of itself, seems a little bit odd if you listen to my last video. So, and this person has something here, which she's holding on to with both arms. What's that? What would she be holding on to? And then there's the unseen communications gear for the on-scene activities recording director, which I really do believe that's what he was. What's he listening to? See? Here it is again. And see where when he's taking this selfie, which I actually don't believe he is taking a selfie there, because I don't see how his arms could extend like that to take, it's at the wrong angle, if you know what I mean. But there's nothing dangling down his ear to the camera, so what is this? Who's he talking to? What's it for? Is he listening to the game? Wanting to know what the score is? His earphone is not connected to the GoPro camera, as no cord going to it can be seen anywhere. Yeah, a little odd. Now, this is the plane. So, you know, they led us to believe it was way out in the ocean. That's pretty close to shore. It's pretty close to shore. Calm day, 234 yards from the shore. A beginner without a life jacket could swim it in under 7 minutes. Not far. Then what is this? This right here. Some sort of anomaly. So let's see what it is. Oh, it's a swimmer delivery vehicle, approximately 50 by 8 by 6. Possible conning tower and periscope. Wake consistent with SDV, direction of travel and Grand Caravan's orientation, propulsion wake. And look how intact that plane is. Pretty intact. That's because there was no crash. There was no crash. And we're going to see it right now because I'm going to show you the video. Yep, finally. I know you guys were saying, like, stop teasing and just show the video. Okay, I'll stop teasing and I'll show the video. Now, I've slowed this down to 0.25. This is what played on ABC and also on several other channels. Just 1 second. Chug, chug, chug. All right. So I'm going to turn off the sound because we don't need it. And when it's slowed down, it just goes whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's just plain annoying. So I have slowed it down, but I am going to take it up to the footage of the crash and then try to take it frame by frame. It's hard using this method, but it's all I have right now. So now hang on here. Let's start back, and she's introducing it. And here we're starting. Okay, here's where the video is starting. Let me see if I can make this bigger and still be able to comment and stop. Like, okay, yes. I think that's going to be better for you people that are on your little tiny phones. So this is Loretta Fuddy right here. This is her. That's her hair. She's wearing a flowered blouse. Pedal pushers is what I call them. I guess they're capri pants. And she's wearing footwear. And she's got a white sole on her feet, but you can't see it in this frame. She is in seat 2A. That's what documentation said. So that would make sense because this would be A and on the other side is B. This is a very small plane. Now there's a gentleman up here. This is Loretta Fuddy. I think she's beside her. Yamamoto is his last name, and he's an assistant of some sort. Now this girl, she looks like she's ready to go. And pay attention, she's got a striped blouse on, and she becomes, and look at her watch here, okay? Just for identifying factors, she's got her hair up in a ponytail at this time, but she's going to take it down, or into a longer ponytail. And so she looks, the way that she's got her hands there, I would not have my hands like that unless I was like, okay, we're going to go down and I'm going to get out. I'm going to make a run for it. That's the impression that I got. She was ready for something. Now, this is, I can't remember who this is, but you'll notice the spider web tattoo here. And then behind that is Puentes, who is the one that is filming. And so we're just going to go forward a bit. And he's looking for, the GoPro is looking toward the pilot. The pilot is up here because this is a very small aircraft. There's no separate cockpit there. So, and this is a small commuter flight that hops between the islands, because Hawaii is made up, of course, of several islands, and to get from one to another, it's necessary to fly. So I'm just going very slowly through here so you can see the planes just kind of going back and forth a little bit. Now, he switches from looking at the pilot to looking out the window. And here's the plane. Now, I don't have the sound turned up because it's difficult to hear it at this, because we're going so slow. But there's, I think it's at this point that there is a siren going, but you don't hear anything from the pilot whatsoever. And you'll notice in a moment when it splashes onto the water, very, very, not very, it's like landing, kind of like on the Hudson River, like the plane landed on the Hudson River. That's exactly what this plane is doing and how it's landing. This pilot actually had experience with water landings, and it shows. Now, I think he was probably chosen for that reason, personally. So he lands on the water, and it's really not that traumatic. There really should have been no one that was injured or died, and there weren't even any injuries. So I think they may have been taken to the hospital to be checked out, but there were no injuries. So let's continue. So here the water's getting closer. And it's about to splash into the water. And you'll notice how it lands, not violently. Okay, now it cuts to her, and she's explaining that he has a GoPro camera. And let's go back to the plane. And again, it's showing the exact same footage. It's just going back now here. But there's nobody panicking here. Nobody's screaming. Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's, trying to stand up to see anything. It's extremely calm. It's extremely connected. This person puts her hand to her mouth, maybe in a nervous way, but I wouldn't say it's overly dramatic or anything. Here's the pilot. He's doing something there. And again, I'm just going slow so you guys can see everything. The pilot doesn't even tell them to brace for impact, which I think is odd. And after we've gone through it slow, I will go through this first part at normal speed with the sound on so you can hear it. He's not telling them, oh, brace for impact, or grab your seatbelts, or your seatbelts. Don't grab your seatbelts, for goodness sakes, not when you're going to drown. But grab your flotation device, or your seat can be used as a flotation device, or, grab the life vest. I'm sure the pilot had a lot on his mind at that point. I'm sure he really did. But you would have thought that even once the plane touched down, he would have been yelling at them to get their life jackets. And of course, someone, says that he did that. But it's not in this video. And to me, that's the conclusive proof. Because if you can't hear it in the video, it didn't happen. Because this guy is taping everything that's happening. So let's go. Now this woman up here, she's fidgeting a little bit, but nobody's, and again, you'll hear when I play the sound, nobody's panicking. Nobody's screaming. Now, this woman shifts her hands like this because, to me, that's what you do when you're about to stand up, right? She's seeing that the plane is ditching. She's got her sunglasses on, which I think is odd because that's the first thing I would take off if I was about to crash. I'd want to see everything that was happening. But, here she is, like, just ready to get out of there. And I don't know, there's her seatbelt. I can't determine whether it's still attached, it's still connected or not. Pilot's still not doing anything, still has his hand here. His hand hasn't moved. Everything seems, the plane there isn't horrendous turbulence or anything like that. Everything's kind of smooth. This guy's starting to move. Everybody's getting ready to get off the plane. Except Loretta, and it looks like her seatbelt is still fastened. So everybody else seems like they're ready to, okay, let's get off. Now, Loretta is looking out the window here, and I think that is her seatbelt, and it looks like it's attached. So it's like she was not expecting this. These people, I believe, were. They're all readying themselves. Now she's starting to she's getting her belt now. She's reaching for her belt. She's snapping her belt open. Loretta Fuddy has not reached for her belt. She is reaching over to the person beside her to touch him, possibly to say, okay, come on. She's got one finger pointed forward. Okay? Just pointing everything out. You can make your own conclusions. Now, this is switching over. He's switching his GoPro over to show what's going on outside. And you can see the water getting really close over here. And then the camera is going to start to focus because there we go. And here we go, just going down into the water, onto the water, not into the water, but onto the water. And then of course the plane will start to sink, but I think it had some help. Okay, and look at how close the shore is there. It's not way out to sea. I see the shore right there. It's pretty close. Now, it can be deceptive, I realize that, but looks pretty close. Doesn't look to be way out in the ocean or anything. Okay, and getting closer and closer. And the guy is filming out the window instead of preparing to exit the plane, which I would be doing. I would be getting myself positioned near the door if I could. I would not even be sitting in my seat at that point. I really would be getting as close to the door as I could, because I would realize that it would fill up with water really fast and I wouldn't want to drown. But hey, that's just me. Like, drowning can ruin your whole day. Okay, and here we're coming in. He's showing the wing. He's even closer to the shore now. It's kind of just, he's got the nose up so that it doesn't go nose into the water and cause a, that would be a little bit of a violent jolt. But no, he's landing on the water, just like the talented pilot that landed the plane on the Hudson River. And see, this pilot knows what he's doing, might I add. It's pretty evident he knows what he's doing. He's a very skilled pilot. Okay? Now, he's starting to switch the camera angle again. You can see how alarmingly close the shore is. And then when it hits, I'm sure there is a little bit of a jolt. And it shows that jostling around. And still got that GoPro. This is out his window again. Okay, and the plane is just, here we go. It touches down. And this is, of course, the water splashing up against the window. And really, honestly, I'm just saying, for me, I don't think I would be worried about a GoPro camera at that point. I would be as close to the exit as possible, because look at this water coming up here. In my mind, it would be like that water is going to be in here in seconds. And to ensure your own survival, you would think that the passengers would get as close to that door as possible. Or emergency exit. And I don't know if a plane that size has an emergency exit. I don't know. So this is several frames of the water coming up and bubbling around because, they've landed. But they're on the water. See how the airplane, whoops, that's going a little bit too fast for me. The plane, the wing of the plane is on top of the water. They have not crashed into the water. Okay, here's all the water bubbling up. You can see the wing of the plane well above water. Water's coming up, as we would expect. Now it's starting to get, that looks like a cassette tape to me or something. I don't know what that is. I didn't see that earlier. And he's got the back of the seat here. And what is he taking there? I don't know. He grabs something. Takes it with him. And he says he's looking for the life jacket. And here he is. After he takes, something out of here, which I don't know what it was. He's now putting something on. And he's looking for, there's his life jacket. So he's looking for that, which I personally, if I knew if I was in a plane and I knew we were going to the water, that's something I would have done long before the plane touched the water. I wouldn't have been worried about filming. I would have been worried about getting that life jacket and getting it on. And then when I got out, I made sure I inflated it. I don't know how they inflate or if they automatically inflate, but if they automatically inflated, I would wait till I got outside. If I had to blow it up or something, I'd be blowing it up in there. I'd be making sure, man. I just would be. I wouldn't be like leaving it to chance. So he's got that. Now by this time, this girl's already up and she's on her way out, exiting. The girl with the ponytail. This is the same guy. This is his hands. Puentes. So that girl, she also has on pedal pushers and looks like sandals. I can't tell if that's the guy with the... I don't think that's the guy with the tattoo, but... This is inside the plane still. I'm not sure what he's doing there. And I'm not sure what he has. Okay, this is one of the other men. He's got shorts and sneakers on. You said you wanted me to take you frame through frame, so here, that's what we're doing. I know it's a lot, but now this is at the front of the plane, it looks like, because that looked like the pilot seat. And what is this? This is definitely a life jacket because I recognize the writing on it. But see, there's something around him that he grabbed from the seat, which I don't know if that's another one of his GoPro cameras, because it's been said that he has two with him that he's using. I don't know. But it's something. Seriously, I would not be worrying about my stuff at that minute, but I guess that's me. I was just showing the chaos but there really isn't chaos. You can't hear it. Nobody's screaming. Nobody's, upset. Yeah, that's the pilot seat. So why he's filming an empty pilot seat, an empty cockpit, I don't know. Where's the pilot? And there's the girl with the ponytail again. There's a guy with jeans and oh, and by the way, another interesting thing is that they recovered more people at the scene than were actually in the so-called accident, the so-called crash. So that's interesting as well. Where'd they come from? Okay, what is that? What is that? I didn't see that before. We've got these. What is this? Is that his other camera? Looks like recording equipment of some sort, I would say. So now this is the open door to the plane out into the ocean, and they're about to exit the plane. And this is happening very quickly. The water's rushing into the plane. And here's the guy. He talks about his steel toe boots in the other video. There's his steel toe boots. Now, that's the first thing I would have gotten rid of. And to tell you the truth, I would have gotten rid of them before I got off the plane. I would have been sitting there. I would have been thinking, we're going in the water. I got to get rid of, if I had a sweater on, anything, it would have been off. And I would have found the life preserver. I would have put it on, around my neck. I would have been ready and at the door. Seriously. Your body moves fast during a situation like that. And, you know, a second feels like it's an hour. Now, to me, he looks like the first person out, but it's just me. But he's not, because there's the other girl with white and the dark pants. This is not Loretta Fuddy at this point. Actually, that's the man. And here he goes with all his equipment. And he's obviously got two GoPros, because he's filming that one, but there's another one that's filming. So he's got two GoPro cameras. And that is definitely a GoPro, and it's in a waterproof thing. Now over here, that bag appears. Remember the bag that I pointed out? It's appeared under the wing. That quickly. Where'd it come from? And here are the stairs going down. And a red thing, which I have no idea what that is. And he's off into the water, splash, with two GoPro cameras. And his hat, and there he is, and he's fumbling through the water with his steel toe boots and whatever. And this is the window of the plane. So it's still on top of the water at this point, and he's reaching out for the wing to hold on to. Now, I'm going to stop it at this point, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to play that with at the regular speed, so that you can see how quick all of this is happening, okay? Because I want to, now let me go back to here, and I'll put it on, well, I'll put it at 0.5. It'll speed it up some. And let's play it now so that you can kind of get, well, maybe I'll do 0.75 so that it won't be so, the audio won't be so, ooh. Okay. It's a pretty good impression, wasn't it? I thought so. Okay.
Those passengers don't know it yet, but they are seconds away from experiencing the worst fear of every air traveler.
No panic, okay? There's no panic really, and she's saying these passengers don't know it. Oh, they knew it. They knew it. Loretta Fuddy didn't know it. She didn't know it.
Suddenly, the alarm sounds.
I mean, these guys would have known before this, especially because they flew this, you know, all the time. So
the plane is going down, spiraling into the ocean.
Okay, it's not spiraling into the ocean. I don't see any spiraling. Do you see any spiraling? Nobody's spiraling. It's landing very gracefully into the ocean, actually. Do you hear anybody yelling or screaming? Do Did you hear the pilot saying anything? Very silent. Okay, you hear somebody yelling to get the door open. Normal.
Life jacket?
Okay, it was Ferdinand Puentes that just said life jacket. So it looks like that guy with the jeans and whatever was the pilot, which means that the pilot got out before this guy did, which it's interesting.
A mad scramble as water fills the inside of the plane.
Okay, maybe the pilot got the door open, but he was the first one out. You would think he would have helped the other passengers out, but well, hey, every man for himself, I guess.
Survivors going for the exits.
Okay, so let's go back to the slow because I want to, right here, this has been all blanked out. Okay, you can tell. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Why? Why is this being blanked out? Now we're going to go back to 0.25. Da, 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 da. And we'll do this. Okay. So look, notice how this white thing just kind of, as it, you know, it's showing this guy, something's being blanked out here. See? Why is that? And again, it's being blanked out. No, that is not water on the lens. Water on the lens looks very different than that, and you can tell the pixelated edges. So it's not that at all. And again here, it's moving with the, they're trying to block something. And you can see the shadow of something over here. So they're not wanting us to see that. Now that's water. That's water. That is not water. There's something there. And these are water on the lens. And then it switches to him, and he's got his little earpiece in. You can tell how close the shore is. The water is not, I mean, any time you're in the ocean, the water is quite powerful, but these are not huge swells. And he's got this earpiece in, but it's not connected to the GoPro. And over here, there's something happening. See the water coming up around something and coming over. What is that? And then it disappears, and when it comes more into view, it's blanked out with a square here. So that was something moving in the water behind him, and it was something mechanical. It was not a fish. And did you see that? Just go back. Okay, so there's something here. See it moving? And as it moves, the square is blanked out there, a big square. Here's the edges of it right here. And as the camera moves, it becomes more of a circle. Or there's something in the water there, right? And look here. Look at how yellow it is. It's something just under the water, and they've blanked this out, blurred it out. And you can see it move from to under the wing. My my opinion is that it's an underwater diver. And I believe that they were there before the crash occurred. This was all planned. And then we come over here and we see the water. We see people exiting the plane. Don't know who they are right now. Here's the she's coughing. She's got, her hair is still up in the ponytail. It's the same person that we saw in the plane, obviously. So she's coughing. And something's happening over here that's being blanked out. And something's here in the water again, and it's blanked out. And so is this. There's a big phallus-shaped blank out right here, and then this is more like a big box. And it goes up to here and over to here. And there's some blanking out over here. Okay. See, you could see that thing swim to this side. And they're grabbing on to the wing of the plane. Over here, we've got all this blanked out. And again, we've got things being blanked out. This looks, I don't know, but to me it looks like the shape of a person being blanked out here, but I don't know. And then it shows Puentes hanging on to the plane, the wing of the plane. He's filming himself, apparently. Again, there's his earpiece, but it's not connected to anything that we can see. I have no doubt it's connected to something. And then it switches to this view, and you can see the plane is starting to you know, the nose is starting to sink, and we've got this all blanked out over here. Why, I do not know, and a big square over here. And you can also see in the sky that there's some things being caught as well. And who is this over here? And what is this? Looks like a bag or something. What's he doing back over here? Doesn't have a life jacket on. There's something else right here in the water, and then this is blanked, all blanked out. Now you're going to see in a few minutes this guy up on the wing. But I don't know what this guy is doing back here, and I don't know what that is. And what needs to be blanked out here? Why is that being blanked out? And along in here. Like, what's that man doing there? And then what is this over here? What is that way over here? There's a bag here or something. There's this man that does not have a life vest on, and he looks like he's just standing there. He doesn't look like he's swimming. And then there's this over here, and then there's all this blanked out. Doesn't look like just random GoPro camera stuff. Yeah, what is this over here? What's that way over here? These are water droplets. And you can tell the water splashing up. It's, you know, don't have any problem with that. But this is blanked out. This is blanked out. This guy, what the heck is he doing? And what's that? What's that? And what's that? And this is on the move now, being blanked out. Now this guy has hold of something white. That bag is still there. And I don't recall seeing this guy on the plane, but he must have. Maybe he was. I mean, but what's this guy doing? Why doesn't he have a life jacket on when the pilot supposedly told everybody to get a life jacket? This one doesn't have a life jacket on either, although she's got a hold of one. And where did that stuff go that's over here? Where'd it go? Oh, it's still there. Something's bobbing in the water over there. Now, I don't know what he's doing over here, but whatever he's doing, they're blanking it out now. And he's got something white that now is protruding from the water. To me, he looks like he's securing the plane. Now there's a great big square here. And now it moves over here. And this guy is even further down into the water, but there's something happening over here, and there's a bright white flash, it looks like here. See? What's he doing? And why doesn't he have a life jacket on? And still, we've got something over here. Now there's something over here. You can't tell me otherwise. And the guy's doing something. What's he standing on? Because he sure as heck ain't swimming. And of course, more blanking out. But they didn't blank out this, whatever this is, and nor this. Oh, and there's that something red bobbing in the water again. And he's still fooling with something. And still there's something in the water over here. There's something that somebody doesn't want us to see, and that's weird, the way the edge is there. I didn't notice that before. It's very odd. But it's like, you see the wake here? It's like something that's an unnatural pattern for the waves. So what's happening there? That's a very unnatural pattern. It's like something underneath is moving quickly away from this guy or to him, but it looks more like it's away because this is where the wake starts, these weird waves. And this part has been, and then we've got some blanking out here. I see more stuff. Every time I play this, I see more stuff. Okay, see, this is just an unnatural, it's unnatural right there. And again, this is all blanked out. You've got her turning towards this person over here. And again, there's all this stuff over here. Now, there's someone, I don't know, it's odd. It looks like somebody has surfaced here rather than the same guy going in with, looks like the back of a head to me. What's going on over here? What is that? What's this? Could be a wave. Why is this all blanked out? this is all blanked out. There's something here. Now it's still all blanked out. This is blank. This is blank. Always stuff they don't want us to see. Why? I don't know. Now this is blanked out. Everything that's happening there. And now there are two red things in the water. And all of this and all of this is now blanked out. So whatever's happening over here must be getting really interesting. Still two things, red things bobbing in the water. This, we can see the shirt of that lady that was right in front of Puentes. We've got a hand here and a life jacket, but we don't know who this is because it's all blanked out. But this moves away and we can see something is still happening here. This guy is down. I don't know what he's got in his hand. But it looks like he's bringing something out. Maybe it's a seat. Looks like a cushion for a flotation. And there's this guy. And again, there's something white sticking out of the water. And there's that bag. At this point, we don't see Loretta Fuddy. Someone said that she remained in the cabin for a few minutes and with someone else, but I don't know. I haven't seen that, but it's hard sometimes because every time I stop and start, I see different things. Here's that guy again. He's moving closer to the cabin. I do see actually somebody is in the cabin. So people have said that they see that, but I never. Now, he handed out some bag to that guy. And here we see this woman. She's got her hand, she's holding on to the wing of the plane. And here comes Puentes. He's also hanging on, apparently. Now, this is where some of this is drops, and one of it was a drone, which I just didn't happen to stop on the right frame, but I did have a picture of that in the last. Now, here's somebody exiting. And something's being blanked out here. And here. And over here. These are just now you see Puentes is on a flotation device that he claims that the pilot gave to him. But what's this over here? What's this right here? What's all this? And why is the water disturbed over here? I mean, it could be the plane going down, bubbling, it could be, but this is something right beneath the water, and it looks like a diver to me. It's been pixelated somewhat, so it's hard to tell, but what is this right here, and what is all this? Now here is Puentes, no longer hanging to the wing. So we know that this has been cut and spliced together. He's on his little flotation device, and did you see? Look over here. All this stuff moving in the water. See, something is coming up from the water here. And what? Because, this is just seconds after they've crashed. Now this, I believe, is, I think this is Fuddy, I think. But maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure till we get to certain frames that it's her. Okay, what's this? What's this that came up from the water? It came up from the water. Now where did it go? It's all blanked out. There's something white underneath here. Now he's going to go underwater. And we're going to see the woman with the hair, that had her hair up with the striped blouse. That's her. I don't know what this is. But over here are the legs of Loretta Fuddy. Right here. It's hard to make out, I know, and it's going so fast. So he's bobbing up. The camera's bobbing up. I don't know what all these orange things are. Now, this guy on the top, and I'm not sure who that is, but he is fiddling with a life jacket. This is Loretta Fuddy. Hard to tell from this picture, but I just know from the position that she's in that this is her. And this guy is sitting on the wing. She's holding on to the wing, and he's fiddling with a life jacket. She does not have a life jacket on. This woman does. She's dangling her feet down into the water here. Oops, 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 oops. Oops, a little too fast. Because these are important frames. Okay, watch this. Looks like a diver came up beside him. There's something else in the water here that appears to be a diver. Two people here. And this, at this point, this is, although her face is all blanked out, odd, but that is Loretta Fuddy. Weird how they pixelated her face like that. And here's this guy, don't know what this is. Looks like a diver coming towards them. Now it's about to show her feet. And that is the one with the striped top, and this is Loretta Fuddy over here. Okay, and it bobs up, and this guy's trying to he's trying to blow up a life jacket or do something with a life jacket. Loretta Fuddy does not have a life jacket at this point, so he may perhaps be doing it for himself, or he may be doing it for her. I don't know. It appears as if he's doing it for her because it appears like he's trying to put it around her neck. But I could be wrong. And this red thing, what is this? Where did that come from? That big red thing. Remember I showed you the picture of her holding a red thing and then letting it go? Well, what is it? What's this over here? Why is that all blanked out? Now, you're going to start noticing something, okay? This woman is going to say something to her, at least it appears that way to me, okay? Now, they're starting to blank out her face here. But that's Loretta Fuddy. What this big phallus-shaped red thing is, I don't know. But here's this woman here. Here's Loretta Fuddy. She's hanging on to the, doesn't look stressed to me. Now, it looks to me like this woman turns to her and says something, and hopefully I'll be able to catch the expression. She starts to open her mouth. Like now, after this woman turns to her, now she tends to look a little bit alarmed. And she opens her mouth. As if, watch her mouth, watch her expression. And this phallus-shaped thing, I don't know what the heck that is. Now, it's hard because they've got this over it, but she's got this look of alarm. This girl says something to her, and she gets this look of alarm come across her. And to me, I clearly see it, although it's hard in this version because the ABC exclusive is placed right over her face. Let me see if I can catch it better. She looks alarmed. Now she kind of goes back, and it's like, see that look? See, there's a fear coming on her face. You can clearly see it. And now it's like she's starting to turn around as if this woman has said, "You're on tape." And she turns around and she sees the guy taping. She looks perplexed there. It's almost like she's squinting, trying to look. And she realizes she's being taped. And then she looks around, she looks over here, she sees this. Just briefly, like for a second, she sees that in the water. Now there's something underneath here. And it's yellow. It's a diver as far as I'm concerned. This woman has reached over and is touching Loretta Fuddy now. Now she looks worried to me. Perplexed, worried. This guy's still fiddling with the life jacket, and I think that is her assistant, Yakamoto, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. She's still got her hands on the plane, the wing of the plane. This woman now has her hands underneath here. There's a diver of some sort right here. She's still looking at the guy that is recording her, probably wondering what's going on. To me, it looks like this guy's about to put this over her head, but I don't know. I think he was obviously in on it. Now, something comes up here. And it's blanked out. And you can see her look, like, just sort of see her look like, see, something splashes, and this woman makes a move for it. Here's her watch, here's her hand, she's making a move for something. And there's a big splash here, and all of a sudden they've either blanked this out or it's so blurry from the movement, but it's like she's trying to pull away. And the cameraman, not wanting to catch what's going on up here, takes it down into the water. Well, I don't know if that's why he lowers it or not, but, and we see something down here, and this is Loretta Fuddy with her white shoes and her pedal pushers. And we see a hand come up. That is the hand of the woman that was beside her with the striped top and the black pedal pushers and bare feet. There's her watch, and she's holding something right here. And I think I got a still shot of that in the last video and wondered what on earth. Now, this goes really fast. You see it, then you don't. Hang on here. Okay, what is this? Don't know. Don't know what that is, but again, she's got a hold of something phallus shaped. It could be that red thing, I don't know. But there it is. She's pointing it somewhere. Looks like she's pointing it towards Loretta Fuddy. This is her bottom, and there's her pedal pushers, her feet, with her shoes. Don't know what this long yellow thing is. Could be part of the plane, might not be. I'm trying to catch where it's dropped because it happens very quickly. She's got it there. She's got it there. She's going towards Loretta Fuddy, and then it's dropped. Because then it's just her thumb and her fingers, which before that, that was not her thumb. No way that was her thumb. See, they go down. Now that's not a thumb. There's no way that's a thumb. But it becomes one. So I don't know, because it's like she dropped something out of her hand. Then it goes back up. There's something blanked out right here. There's all this yellow over here. Goes back to showing him, but where is Loretta Fuddy? It's like she's been pulled away from there. To me, but, and it's under again, and it's showing Loretta. There's her shoes. Something's happening to her. But there she's, so I don't know. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know exactly what's going on there. But it's weird that she's taken away from that wing, because there are pictures of him pictures of her after. See, where did she go? There. There's a big splash, and she's not there. Is she being pulled under? And there is just the little tip of Loretta there, but she looks like she's struggling there. There's water all around her. And then it cuts to something else. And then he wants to take a picture of himself because he's so wonderful. There's the woman with the striped shirt. I'm sorry for all the clicking, all you people that are haters of clicking. Oh, did you see that? That was the drone. I could be missing all sorts of things too, because it's just to go through frame by frame is a bit much, but this is just water and whatever he's taking. Who was that? Not sure who these two are, but there's somebody out here. There's somebody bobbing with a life vest here and here. What happened to the people on the plane wing? And there was something there that just should not have been there, and it was blanked out. Now, underwater, this is the girl with the striped shirt, because we can see her legs. You know, we can see her little feet there. And she's swimming. And then back to her feet. Something's over here, don't know who or what that is, but this over here appears to be Loretta Fuddy. Don't know what's happening in this picture. But she's kicking with her feet, this girl, the girl with the striped top, and looks like there's somebody else here that is not Loretta Fuddy, so I don't know. Okay, that's the guy then. This is the girl with the striped shirt, and this is the guy with the shorts. Where's Loretta Fuddy? Because she was beside that woman just momentarily. I mean, not very long ago. Okay. Now, as it turns out over here, now why she's not hanging onto the wing anymore, I don't know. But this is Loretta Fuddy, I do believe. I'll be able to tell in a minute. Yeah, this is her over here. I believe. It's hard, like with some of this footage, it's just not very... But this, from what I understood, is Loretta Fuddy, and then there's an underwater diver coming up underneath and beside her. Personally, I think that whatever was done to her when she was hanging onto the wing, and now she's feeling the effects of it, and she's laying back. And this is her head here, I believe. And then it's underwater. And he moves the camera away. And back, and now she's no longer really above the water. And this apparently is Yakamoto, her assistant, hanging onto her hand. Well, I think that he would have been concerned at this point, don't you? And don't you think that he would have noticed divers around her? But maybe not. See, there's something coming up from the water here. What is that? And it's caught this guy's attention too. And he goes down to get away from it. That's the woman in the striped shirt. And this is Loretta Fuddy, obviously in distress. A lot of splashing around her. Don't think it's her that's splashing. What is this? It's not her shoe. She's got white shoes on. What is that? Coming up from the water. Moving. Moving through the water. Still moving through the water. Still there. Still there. And now it's under. And so is Loretta Fuddy. Lots of stuff going on in that water. Now, you tell me that's not a diver. Did you see that? You tell me that's not a diver. Now, this is seconds. Like, we're going through it very slowly, but this is seconds after hitting the water. Where did these divers come from? They got those that scuba gear on and everything pretty quickly. Where'd they come from? They were already there. That's where they came from. Let's just go back a few, because I want you to catch that. There's something here, right here. It's coming up. You see that? That is a diver. That is evident. He's there to make sure that Fuddy dies. And personally, I think she's already not feeling well, or she would still be hanging on to the wing. But maybe the wing had sunk to a point where they couldn't hang on to it anymore. I don't know, but just seems odd, the whole thing. And then the diver's back underneath the water because I don't think he was supposed to be seen. And here he is, he's surfacing over here. And you can still see him underneath the and then it cuts to this again, which doesn't make sense to me because this is just the same footage repeated. So these are the very same shots that we looked at earlier, but they're repeated as if they're new. Did you see something come up out of the water there? And then this is the same footage of them underwater. Same footage. I guess they wanted to extend the footage, so they... Now, someone else had a really good point, and there's this guy talking about how he was rescued, or not how he was rescued, but, you know, talking about the crash and so forth. And interestingly enough, somebody said that, okay, Mr. GoPro, he was so interested in catching it all, and, you know, he was talking about how he didn't know if he was going to make it because he had steel-toe boots on, but personally, to me, I would have taken the boots off before I even exited the plane, but... Again, that's just me, but somebody said, it's funny how Mr. GoPro wanted to tape everything, but then he comes so close to a whale that he can look it in the eye, but he doesn't film that. And I had to laugh because I thought, that's brilliant. It's brilliant. I'd never thought of that, but that's true. It's true. It's like, okay, if you're that close to a whale, don't you think you'd whip out your GoPro? But I don't know. So let's listen to this guy for a second. Do 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 do. What do you have to say, Mr. Puentes?
And everything that you remembered in your past, your loved ones and everything, this, I didn't say goodbye to them. Your whole life just goes in front of you.
And we were marking and watching the video, listening, how calm everyone was.
Not a single scream, and so methodical, all getting out in time.
Unfortunately, there was one fatality. The state's health department director was on board and was killed.
Sad, but boy, that is incredible.
So, there you go. We went through it, not exactly frame by frame, but the best I could do because I don't have the equipment to do it otherwise. But we did see some interesting things there, you have to admit. So anyway, that is it for that. And I may do one other video tonight because I have some other things that I want to bring to you. And if so, I will go ahead and do that. I don't think that there's any more queue or any queue today. So thought I would catch up on some other stuff, and I will talk to you guys later. Stay safe.